People in the market for a mortgage or refinancing could be leaving thousands of dollars on the table.
That's right. Incredible.com is launching a first-of-its-kind online mortgage marketplace. CEO Stephen Dash explained how it all works.
So many people do just apply to one lender for a really important financial decision that they're making. I describe it like going to the dentist. We all put it off. It's a painful experience, but really we know we should do it. And so the reality is that 3 in 4 borrowers who are looking to refinance their mortgage will only apply to one lender. What that means is they're potentially leaving a lot of money on the table. The average mortgage borrower can save about $15,000 in interest over the life of their loan for every quarter-point difference in interest rate. So we think it's really important that people shop around, and we're launching today the Credible.com mortgage refinancing marketplace, which allows borrowers to see actual rates from multiple lenders that they qualify for in less than 3 minutes without having any impact on their credit score. It's true that interest rates are rising and refinancing activity is down, but over 2 million Americans are expected to refinance their mortgage between now and the end of 2019. That equates to about $500 billion in mortgages that will be refinanced over the next 18 months. And the reason this is happening is borrowers, homeowners, have built up so much equity in their homes over the last 5 years. They're using the mortgage refinancing as a cash out opportunity to take cash out of their mortgage, out of their home, and remodel their kitchen or their bathroom or put a deck on the back of their home. In Jacksonville, about $80,000 in equity has been built up for the average homeowner over the last 5 years. So you can see why activity is still high and affecting 2 million people across the US just in the next 18 months. So we're turning our focus to mortgage now because we built the leading marketplace in the US for student loans. We have originated over $1.6 billion in student loans since we launched in 2012 from lenders through our platform. And on average, we've saved borrowers who refinance their student loan about $18,000 in interest over the life of their loan. So we think it's about time consumers had that same experience for the #1 debt obligation that most Americans have, which is their mortgage. So we're launching today in Jacksonville the Credible.com mortgage refinancing marketplace. So fundamentally, we believe that old school comparison sites that collect, harvest, and sell borrowers' data is a fundamentally anti-consumer practice, and we will never do it. So we're different in that we're providing actual rates to borrowers without impacting their credit from multiple lenders in less than 3 minutes, and we will never sell your data. So borrowers can go to Credible.com and they can find out if they're overpaying on their mortgages in less than 3 minutes. So borrowers in Jacksonville can today go to Credible.com, and in less than 3 minutes they can get actual rates from multiple lenders without impacting their credit, and we will never sell your data. That's Credible.com.
Good stuff. We want to thank Credible.com for bringing us that information.